Love laid bare.
Good morning, good afternoon, or good evening, wherever you are in the world. You're through to another episode of Love Laid Bare, and I'm of course your host, Dionne. Okay, it's been a minute. It's been a bit. But I'm back and I'm back. I'm back now. How's everyone been doing? It's been a year since, actually, no, it's been over a year since I last actually published an episode. Not that I haven't been recording, not that I haven't been interviewing, but it's just been, it's been, it's been a crazy time. Like, in very kind of quick summary, I have, I think, literally this time last year, sold my family home. My daughter finished nursery. She went on to reception at school. A friend of mine passed away. My dog died. I moved back in with parents for a bit. I started university as a mature student. And yeah, there was a lot of stuff going on, adjusting to, co-parenting and all that kind of stuff was a lot. Um, so with all the best intentions of me kind of like, starting back once I kind of got into the swing of uni, things just happened, didn't quite work out. Um, in the meantime, and in that time, I decided to have therapy again because guys, like I always say, like you don't just have therapy when there's a problem. It's like going to the gym. It's just best practice. Like have a check-in at least once a year. And so I did that, once I went back to uni, because like I said, there'd been a lot of changes and all that kind of stuff. Um, and then when it got to January and I was like, do you know what? I'm good. Everything is good. I've worked through some stuff. I'm kind of good to go. And then I had the biggest, how can I say? I would say the biggest thing that to rock me to date. And I can honestly say that that was probably the worst thing that I have ever been through in my life and still kind of going through. Um, but, I've been doing a lot of work, therapy, my own self-awareness work, lots of, healing work and stuff like that. So, we're in June now. I finished my academic year. So I'm ready to kind of, come back. I think in this time though, look, when I say I've learned a lot, I have learned so much. I've untapped emotions in myself that I didn't even know were there. Yeah. One being anger, right? So I'm not generally someone who holds on to anger. So something might absolutely piss me off. Yeah. But my brain does this really quick thing where it's like, okay, so this has happened, da 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 da, and something just happens in my brain, and I'm like, let it go. And sometimes not to my benefit, probably more to my detriment. Um, and then I made the mistake of saying this to my therapist, and I was like, do you know what it is? Like I just can't hold on to anger. It's just something that just doesn't dwell in me. Who told me to say that? Who told me to say that? Literally, I think that was the Thursday. I think by the Sunday, I was overcome with absolute, unadulterated rage about a particular situation. I would definitely say it was probably a bit of a delayed reaction, but I have never experienced anything like that. I'm generally a very calm, laid back person. Like I say, anger doesn't really dwell in me, it doesn't reside, you know. But this particular time, I would go to bed angry, I would wake up angry, I was angry during the day. There was just, and I think I can more so empathize with people who have issues generally with anger, because it's like I'm trying to find an outlet. I was going to the gym, I'm meditating, using my sound bars. Nothing literally was working. I'm doing grounding techniques. Right now I'm looking across the road. I've got a beautiful park across the road. It's all green. I would go and sit in there, and nothing was shifting this anger. And I had to be very mindful, because obviously I'm a mother, so I can't be taking this anger out on my child. So I had to try and, the times I'm feeling highly irritated, I had to remember that this is about me. This isn't actually about anything that she's particularly doing. Yeah, it might annoy me, but the level of rage that I'm feeling has nothing to do with her. So I had to kind of really cap my anger. And unless I said something to somebody, you wouldn't know that I was so angry. You would have no idea. But it literally was in the pit of my stomach. It was in my chest. I wasn't sleeping well, lots of tension in the shoulders, all that kind of stuff. And like I say, it was a very delayed reaction to a particular situation. But do you know what made me release that anger? It was me deciding that the person who'd caused my anger, I had to wish them peace before I could have peace in myself. And I tell you, as soon as I uttered those words, my anger disappeared. It went. I do these self-awareness exercises where I'll write down the problem on a piece of paper, and I'll do like a spider diagram, and I will list off all of the emotions, where they've come from, what I'm feeling, and then try and strategize around that. Like, okay, how can I deal with this? I wrote out mantras and affirmations, and whilst they temporarily gave me some type of release, it wasn't long enough, because I had to get to the point where I was like, do you know what? I need to let this go. I actually need to let this go, and I can't let this anger go until I release them in genuine peace. And if it wasn't from a genuine place, it wouldn't have happened. But it was like literally, as soon as I almost got that download, my rage was through the roof. I think in this time, again, I've experienced some emotions that I've never really had to that severity. At the top of the year, I was dealing with a lot of anxiety. When I say anxiety, I mean on 100. I've never had anxiety in my life. Anxious, yes. Little moments of anxiety, yes. But this was through the roof. I was in a state of fear. I was in a state of confusion. I was lost. And that's a hard space to exist in when you're trying to let appear to your family and your friends and everyone else like you're okay. I'm not going to talk about that particular situation because it is still something that's ongoing, but what I will say is that was literally probably one of the darkest moments of my life. And until I got a kind of like change in environment, that's when, those feelings kind of lifted, if that makes sense. So just a short summary of like kind of, where I've been and what I've been doing. Still very much dedicated to the cause. And do you know what, I just want to say as well, like, thank you for everybody that has touched base with me, everyone that's given me encouraging words to come back. If you're listening on the podcast, I'm currently in front of the camera, which is really quite hard for me because I think when I'm speaking from a space of vulnerability, it's easier to do that on a microphone, but to do it on camera is is difficult. You know, I'm looking at like, I'm like, oh my God, I probably should have done my hair a bit better today, and you know, whatever else. But you know, it is what it is. It is what it is. We're here now. So this is like just a little mini prelude before the real season kicks off. I have a wealth of content, topics, and all that type of stuff that we can go through and discuss. You know, to all my international listeners as well as UK listeners, thank you for riding with me. You know, I can still see that you guys have been tuning in and listening to old episodes. And like I always say or have said, you know, treat the episodes like a bit of a library in a sense. So, you know, if you don't tune in every week, that's fine, but go back and there will be something that can be of some kind of benefit to you. Do you know what I mean? What else has there been? I do want to just touch on the importance of therapy, right? Because, I mean, obviously, yes, this is my field and this is what I'm training in, but I've always seen the advantages of having therapy, of having a sounding board and having a very good therapist. My therapist currently used to actually tutor me, but there was something about her that really resonated, really resonated. I do feel like I found my perfect match in terms of, you know, her understanding and me not having to explain certain things regarding my spirituality, culture and stuff like that. She gets it. I'm saving a lot of money by not having to explain certain things. Now, on the kind of topic of therapy and self-awareness work, I had a major breakthrough at the top of this year, and that breakthrough would not have happened had I not done all of the work that I'd done previously. Because I remember walking into that session, I forgot I had a session. I never forget I've got a therapy session, never. And that morning, I completely forgot I had a session. And I was thinking to myself, do you know what? I'm good, you know. Like, been doing this a couple of months. I'm all right. Like, I'm looking forward to this year. You know, I'm turning 40 this year. You know, everything's clear. I'm good. I'm excited. You know, this year is going to be amazing. And I walked into that session with the intention to tell my therapist, we're going to wind down now. Guess what happened? Guess what happened in that session? A whole new level of Pandora's box smashed open, or burst open, should I say. And like I say, I feel like had I not done all of this clearance work prior, this thing, which is probably the main thing that I wasn't even aware about, was able to surface. So on that note, and just to kind of start to kind of close off, you know, your healing journey is, it's a long one. And sometimes it feels like the moment you feel like, yeah, like I'm good, something else will come and knock you back down temporarily. But I'm telling you, if you continue just to do the work, keep yourself accountable, keep yourself at a steady level of your own internal awareness. Because the thing is, a lot of the work when it comes to therapy happens outside of that therapy session. You cannot expect to do all your healing within that 15-minute, half an hour, however long a session is. The work cannot be completely done there. You have to do a lot of the work outside by yourself. I am going to be offering some self-awareness sessions once I get back up and running, so I'll let you guys know the detail. That doesn't matter where you are in the world, we'll do it over Zoom anyway. But I've had a few self-awareness sessions with a few clients, and they've all found it really, really beneficial. Remember, you can download my free ebook, which is How to Build Self-Awareness, on the website. So that's www.lovelaidbear.com. So head over there. It's a free ebook. Just gets you thinking. Especially if you're thinking about going into therapy, it's a nice little way of kind of identifying some things yourself. Because like I say, your healing journey is actually down to you. Your therapist doesn't heal you. You heal you. You do that. Your therapist is just like a facilitator. They're like a guide. They kind of like hold your hand through the process, and they will maybe ask you questions to bring certain things out of you, Some helpful things that I used and did whilst I was on this journey. So one of them was Rescue Remedy Spray. I'll put all these in the links. But this is really good for calming your anxiety. I never would have thought that I would have needed something like this. It tastes a little bit like... It tastes like alcohol, but it doesn't get you drunk, obviously. It says grape extract, but I didn't taste any grape. To me, it just tastes like almost pure alcohol, but it's not overbearing, and it's not harsh on the throat. That was really good. I do a lot of, sound bath healing. So I will literally go on YouTube, put on a sound bath, sit there. I really had to work on, my nervous system, because it was literally shot. So lots of resting, lots of Epsom salts baths, lots of just doing nothing, and actually not feeling guilty about that. I have my own sound bath in it. I don't know if you can't see, it's behind me, but I've got my own singing bowl, which I use at home. Being out in nature, really, really good. Going to the gym. I mean, at the time, to be fair, I wasn't going to the gym at all, but just trying to stay active. And like I say, it's so important to find joy in the little things. In this time of my complete and utter, space of being in fear, in being anxious, in being lost, in being in a completely dark place, I still had to show up. I still had to show up for other people. I still had to show up for my child. I still had to show up for uni. Thank God I managed to pass this year so well. I even got a couple of first semesters, which I was gobsmacked about. But again, it just shows you the power of, resilience. And when you've worked yourself to a certain point, you can almost keep going. But you must have a support network around you. So whether that is a small group of friends and your therapist, keeping busy isn't always a good thing, but sometimes it is if you're also doing the work at the same time. Because whilst I'm in the start place, I'm still doing the work. I'm still looking after my well-being. I had to increase my self-care. I had to force myself to be in places with people and experience joy in those times, because had I withdrawn myself, I don't think it would have fared me very well. But then I also understand that everyone is different and we all kind of handle things in our own way. Another product I use, this is called Valipura Aura Spray. So it's a crystal infused mist. You guys must know already, I love my crystals. This was, so this says, realigns and heals the body through the auric field. Simply spray above the head and throughout the aura. This was quite handy. I came across this lady on Twitter. Her name is Candice Cotton. I think her Twitter @ is Turtle Breeze. And she has this book called Heal. Listen. This book, right, is literally... The only thing I can compare it to is like maybe tarot. because I can flick through this book and go on a random page and it always aligns. So I'm going to give it a go and let's see what happens. So this is a book of poems, or short poems, right? So it says, inhale, then exhale pain. Always hits. Okay, so competition time. So first thing I need you to do is follow me on YouTube, Instagram, and Twitter if you have those accounts. DM me, and I am going to pick at random someone to have a free self-awareness session. It's usually between about 45 minutes to an hour, and 2 free copies of this book called Heal by Candice Cotton. So guys, don't forget to click like and subscribe, and I will see you soon for season 8. Thank you, I love you, and take care of yourselves. And it's a wrap.
Love, laid,